S&P 500 confirms undergo marketplace as recession fear grows. New York U.S. equities tumbled on Monday, with the S&P 500 confirming its miles in a endure market, heightening fears that the predicted competitive interest rate hikes via the Federal Reserve should push the economic system right into a recession. The benchmark S&P index has fallen for 4 directly days, its longest dropping streak in 3 months, with the index now down 21.8% from its most recent record last high to confirm a endure market began on January 3, according to a usually used definition. All the foremost S&P sectors had been sharply decrease, with best 5 additives of the S&P 500 in high-quality territory on the day. Markets had been under strain this year as hiking prices, which include a leap in oil fees due in part to the warfare in Ukraine, have placed the Fed on target to take sturdy moves to tighten its economic policy, together with interest fee hike. The Fed is scheduled to make its subsequent coverage announcement on Wednesday, and buyers will be rather targeted on any clues for the way aggressive the significant bank intends to be in raising costs. High-growth marketplace heavyweights, which include Apple Inc. Nasdaq, AAPL, Microsoft Corp. Nasdaq, MSFT, and Amazon.com Inc. Nasdaq, AMZN, had been the biggest drags on the S&P 500, as the yield on the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury observe hit 3.44%, its maximum stage given that April 2011. Growth stocks are more likely to peer their earnings go through in a growing rate surroundings. A hotter-than-expected Patron Charge Index (CPI) studying on Friday precipitated buyers to fee in a complete of 175 foundation point (BPS) in hobby price hikes by means of September, while expectancies for a 75 basis point hike at the June Assembly have jumped to almost 30% from 3.1% a week in the past, consistent with CME's FedWatch tool. The marketplace had been seeking to rally across the idea that inflation has peaked, and the Fed would not need to be greater competitive, said Ross Mayfield, funding strategy analyst at Baird in Louisville, Kentucky. That story fell apart on Friday with the CPI record, showing vast inflation being entrenched everywhere you appearance. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 876.05 factors, or 2.79%, to 30,516.74. The S&P 500 misplaced 151.23 factors, or 3.88%, to 3,749.63, and the Nasdaq Composite dropped 530.80 factors, or 4.68%, to 10,809.23. Graphic: S&P 500 endure markets 20 image percent 201,655,136,477,182. The longest S&P 500 endure market lasted just over 5 years, beginning on March 6, 1937 and ending on April 29, 1942, whilst the shortest lasted just over a month, starting on February 19, 2020 and ending on March 23, 2020, in keeping with S&P Dow Jones indices. It has taken a touch over a year on common for the index to reach its backside all through bear markets, and then roughly every other 2 years to go back to its prior high, in line with CFRA research. In addition, the 2-year 10-year U.S. Treasury yield curve in brief inverted for the primary time on the grounds that April, which many within the markets see as a dependable signal that a recession ought to come within the subsequent year or two. The Nasdaq Composite Index, which suffered its 4th directly drop, confirmed it changed into in endure market territory on March 7 and has declined roughly 30% this year. The CBOE Volatility Index, additionally called Wall Street's worry gauge, spiked to its highest level considering that May 9 at 35.05 before ultimate at 34.02. Still, many analysts view the level as rather subdued and will mean greater selling stress is in store. This is a market that does not appear to be. It is capitulating as plenty as it's far frustrated, stated Rob Hayworth, senior investment strategist at U.S. Bank Wealth Management in Seattle. Even with a number of the securities being thrown out, it is just now not deep sufficient, violent sufficient to see that people have taken positions off. Graphic, S&P 500 timeline 20 image percent 201,655,126,727,434. PNG cryptocurrency and blockchain-related stocks, which includes Riot Blockchain, Nasdaq, Riot, Marathon Digital Holdings and Coinbase, Nasdaq, Coin, Global, all plunged as Bitcoin slumped greater than 10% after principal U.S. cryptocurrency lending agency Celsius Network iced up withdrawals and transfers mentioning excessive conditions. Volume on U.S. exchanges turned into 14.98 billion shares, in comparison with the 11.95 billion common for the overall consultation over the last 20 trading days. Declining troubles outnumbered advancing ones at the NYSE via a 16.62 to 1 ratio. On Nasdaq, a 7.00 to 1 ratio favored decliners. The S&P 500 posted 1 new 52-week highs and 76 new lows. The Nasdaq Composite recorded 12 new highs and 743 new lows.